Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. This is episode 51. This is your host Lucas with Mal, Maurice, and Earl as their co-hosts. Guys, we are in the middle of our Mount Rushmore saga right now. During the offseason, we are doing QB Mount Rushmore. Last episode was Commanders, so Commanders fans, if you want to check out the Commanders Mount Rushmore that we came up with, please make sure you go to our website, and not our website, our whatever streaming platform you're using to check that out. But tonight is Maurice's night, and I know Maurice is excited.
I am excited. This might end up being controversial. I kind of did a 180.
Because we talked a little bit about it. Okay. I'm excited.
You did a 180? Can't wait to hear this one.
I wonder if Earl and Maurice are going to agree on the one guy that I think is going to be controversial.
Stay tuned.
We'll
find out.
We're about to find out today.
All right, so let's get into it. The Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Mount Rushmores. And when we start off with quarterbacks for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think you got to start off with Donovan McNabb. He's the all-time winningest quarterback in Philadelphia Eagles history. Just some numbers to throw out there real quick. McNabb has a career franchise passer rating of 86.5. He's thrown for over 3,200 yards, 216 touchdowns, 100 interceptions, and 148 games for the Philadelphia Eagles in his career.
Wow,
that's a solid stats right there.
Yeah, I know how many career sacks he has. I remember that from our trivia question.
This is supposed to be a positive one, Lucas.
I'm sorry.
How you want to throw a third of McNabb? He is a former Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For that short time,
we didn't want him.
For Christmas, I almost bought you that jersey, Lucas.
You didn't even know me at that point. I was still in high school. I was
2011.
2011, yeah, no, 2010, 2011, yeah. It was my senior year of high school. I remember because that game where Mike Vick destroyed us was McNabb was against the Eagles, and McNabb was there, and that was my 18th birthday present.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one. Well, it wasn't good in that regard.
Lucas, I could easily have gotten that off of a website and still got it for you for Christmas. Like, I mean, I was planning, like I was brainstorming for it when you got to Regent.
Okay, well, anyway, we were taking away from Maurice. Go ahead, Maurice.
Carry on. Proceed.
Yeah, and real quick, one thing. I completely forgot McNabb played for the Vikings.
Oh yeah.
Wait, he did?
That. Yeah, he did.
He did.
He played like 5 games?
It was like one season.
Yeah, it wasn't even a full season, yeah.
But anyway, back to the good stuff. McNabb's 4,746 pass attempts is 2,800 completions and 32,873 passing yards, and his 216 touchdowns are franchise records. He led the team to 8 playoff appearances, 5 NFC East titles, 5 conference championships, and a Super Bowl. So, without a doubt, Donovan McNabb, number one in the Mount Rushmore, the winningest quarterback. When McNabb was quarterback for the Eagles, that was their most winningest, if that's the right word, winningest era in their franchise.
Yeah, they kept it consistent then.
Him and Andy Reid, a dynamic duo.
Yeah, dynamic duo. Now, the second quarterback, speaking of dynamic, we all know him by the ultimate weapon, Randall Cunningham.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Can I pause? Can I pause here? Because when me and Maurice were talking about this beforehand, he was telling me about how Randall Cunningham punted a 91-yarder, and I was like, nah.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. He punted.
Yeah. You saw the clip, right?
You sent it to me. I watched it. Yeah.
Look, you only see something like that on a created character in Madden. Like, for real.
With the scales up.
99 overall.
Yeah. Randall Cunningham was a trend-setting quarterback. I think he was the first of the modern, would you say, mobile quarterback? The quarterback
the first one to play in the NFL. Because Major Harris did it at West Virginia first.
Okay. All right. Thanks for
Well,
that.
I mean, don't forget Warren Moon. And,
Okay.
Well, Randall was much more mobile than Warren Moon.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
true.
and Randall had that arm. He had a gun for an arm.
He did.
So he was very hard to hit. It's a couple of clips of Randall almost getting sacked by like Giants players and Cowboys players, and he just avoids the tackle and runs for 25 yards. And and there's also a play of McNabb passing the ball for 99 yards for a touchdown. So
Anyway,
Randall
getting
was
back to Randall, yeah.
yeah, Randall was truly the ultimate weapon. Some numbers. His career passer rating for the Eagles was 78.7, and he passed for 22,877 yards, 150 touchdowns, 105 interceptions, in 122 games for the Eagles in his career.
Okay.
All right.
Those two I expected.
Yeah. So number 3, I don't think you didn't expect this one until I mentioned it to you. Number 3 is Ron Jaworski.
I forgot about Ron, and I feel so
Ron
bad about
Jaworski.
Shame I forgot.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Well, you know what? It's all okay.
Shame on you.
We're gonna make up for it. Let's go.
Well, let me teach you something real quick, Lucas.
Okay.
Jaworski played 9 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, a Pro Bowler, and quarterback of the 1980 team that went to the Super Bowl 15, against the Los Angeles Raiders.
Yep.
Wasn't that the Eagles' first Super Bowl appearance?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
it continue, was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jaws.
1980s was not kind to Philadelphia fans in general when it comes to basketball and football in terms of disappointment.
No, that's not true.
I mean, you got a championship in basketball in 1983, but like outside of that,
Phillies.
Okay, I'm just said basketball and football. I didn't count baseball.
Okay.
You gotta count it all.
Do
I? By the way, go Phils. But anyway, let's get back to Jaworski. Jaworski's passer rating as a Philadelphia Eagle was 74.0. He passed for 26,963 yards, 175 touchdowns, 151 interceptions, in 142 games for the Eagles in his career. Now, Ron Jaworski was the bridge to Randall Cunningham, but Jaworski was kind of underrated here in Philadelphia. I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. He was a really good quarterback. His run as like one of the better quarterbacks in the league was very short, but he was the quarterback that led his team, this franchise, to their first Super Bowl. So salute to Ron Jaworski. He's definitely in the Mount Rushmore.
Salute.
All right, so here's the fourth one. Now, I had another name in mind, and I will get to the honorable mentions after this one, because this one I had to really look at the stats for this one, and what it came down to for me was the tiebreaker is always winning. It's always winning, and who won? Who won the big games? Now, my fourth quarterback with the Mount Rushmore was Nick Foles.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's fair, though. That's fair.
What did our conversation the other day swayed you?
Well, no, not really. But I had to really look at the stats. Now, the honorable mention, the other person I was discussing for the fourth spot was Sonny Jurgensen.
Okay.
Now, with Sonny Jurgensen, before I get to Nick Foles, I just want to mention Sonny Jurgensen because it was really close. Now, Sonny Jurgensen, he's a Hall of Famer, like you mentioned last week, Lucas. Mm-hmm. But Sonny Jurgensen actually had his best season as an Eagle.
Okay.
The 1961, and this is bordering on pre-Super Bowl era, but 1961, at the age of 27, Sonny Jurgensen had his most winningest season as a quarterback. He went 10-4 that season. The most wins he had with the Redskins was 7. He won the most games. He threw for 3,700 yards that season, 32 touchdowns, And he was number 2. He was second in MVP that season. Now that was his best season, and he was a Philadelphia Eagle. It was close, but when it came to Nick Foles, I had to prioritize the Super Bowl. I had to prioritize what he did in the Super Bowl. And yeah, Nick Foles didn't have like a great stretch or even a great season as a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. But when it's all said and done, Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl. He played the game of his life against the greatest quarterback of all time. He left with the MVP of the game and a Super Bowl trophy.
Didn't they build a statue of Foles?
Yes, they have a statue of Foles.
Wait, so they do have a statue of. Well, there you go. Like
that's what I thought.
That is a bit excessive. Wow.
Hey, he got them championship. Like,
listen.
So hold on. Let me ask you guys this, because this might be a controversial take. A backup quarterback, the starter who was having a very good season, went down with injury.
Yes, Carson Wentz.
Hang on, I'm not. And then he wins them the Super Bowl, becomes iconic to the franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
No. Just hear me out. Nick Foles and Doug Williams did almost the exact same thing. Only Doug Williams was more significant because of the racial aspect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good parallel.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to diminish anything that Doug Williams did, but I think that the parallels there are pretty strong, actually. Because outside of that, they both kind of were like okay starters during the regular season, right?
Was Doug Williams the MVP of the Super Bowl?
He was.
Okay, that's a really good parallel.
And he also, he set a record in the first half of throwing touchdowns too. So.
And Nick Foles beat the GOAT.
He beat the GOAT.
That is true.
Hey, if it wasn't for Nick Foles, this podcast would be called 12 Rings.
That is true, and we would give Maurice a lot of grief for his team not having for his team. Of course, then again, 2 years ago it could have been called. It could have, if it was 2 years ago, and y'all didn't choke when you did with that turnover. It could have been called 14 rings.
Yeah.
But think of it this way, Maurice. Mm-hmm. Y'all got the one ring. At first, it was a ring pop, and y'all switched it out for a championship ring. You got on the board.
Right. Yep. Well, let me go through Nick Foles' stats real quick.
Because he got drafted in the first round by the Eagles back in 2013?
No, Nick Foles wasn't a first round draft pick.
But he was drafted to be a starter for the Eagles, right?
I don't even know. I don't know about that one.
Because I remember he was in the Rams at one point.
No. But he got drafted by the Eagles. I'm almost sure of it. Hang on, I'm gonna look. You talk. I'm gonna look this up.
Nick Foles was drafted in the 3rd round, 88th overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft.
Okay, so not a first round pick, but he was and it was by the Eagles, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because I remember him starting during the Chip Kelly era. Well, nobody was going to succeed in that system.
Yeah, that was a wonky time. But anyway, let me get to the stats real quick. Nick Foles' career as a Philadelphia Eagle, he had a passer rating of 93.2, 8,703 yards. Like I said, he didn't really have a great stretch a great career stretch with the Eagles. I mean, only 8,700 yards. So 58 touchdowns and 23 interceptions in 40 games for the Eagles in his career. Only played 40 games, including an NFL record game where he passed for 7 touchdowns in one game. Only a few quarterbacks in history did that, including Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and a couple others. Like I mentioned, MVP of the Super Bowl. In that game, he completed 28 of 43 pass attempts for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I gotta mention the Philly special. That was a moment in itself. Like if you go back and look at it, the I can't say the word, the cojones of Doug Peterson and Nick Foles to do that play right before halftime when the game is still in the air, to pull off that trick play, it really set the tone for the second half, and the Philadelphia Eagles won.
Yeah, he definitely had the huevos for that.
I'm trying to figure out why he left Philly in the first place, because I guess it must have been injuries, because in his second season he was a Pro Bowler with the Eagles, and he had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions that season and 2,800 yards.
Well, I think he was a casualty of the Chip Kelly era. Once Chip Kelly left, everything kind of blew up.
Yeah, because the next season he had a winning record. He had 21 wins to 11 losses.
Yeah, you got to remember too. Chip Kelly was basically the general manager that last season.
Yeah,
and then Howie Roseman got pushed to the side, and then that's when Howie came back and became the GM that we know today. After that, so there was a lot going on during that time. I think Nick Foles was just a casualty of that. But his second run was the important one.
Yeah, that's true.
Agreed.
So recap for us. Who is on your Mount Rushmore?
All right. So to recap, Donovan McNabb, the greatest, winningest quarterback in Eagles history. Randall Cunningham, dynamic, trend-setting, generational type quarterback.
Ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon. Ron Jaworski, stable quarterback that got the Eagles to their first Super Bowl. And Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP, the guy that gave us this franchise in the city of Philadelphia, their first Super Bowl in a parade. So that is my Mount Rushmore Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks. What do you guys think?
I had the exact same list.
So did I.
Mine's different.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Earl. Go ahead.
Yeah, Earl's the only one that has anything really to say here.
Yeah, I ain't afraid about it. But I definitely had Nick Foles as an honorable mention, though. He definitely got y'all first Super Bowl, and fans and everybody was so happy. They tore up the streets. But it was a happy celebration. Mm-hmm. My Mount Rushmore for the Eagles quarterbacks is pretty much kind of the same for everyone else's. But my fourth option is definitely one that is controversial. So I had Donovan McNabb at 1. I had Randall Cunningham at 2. I had Ron Jaworski at 3.
Jaws.
Yep, Jaws. My fourth quarterback, I chose Michael Vick.
Wow. Okay, you're going to have to explain that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, ball is in my court. Just from giving a man a second chance, especially when his first time he really messed up. That really hit him hard. But he definitely worked his way to get back on the field. And I feel if Chip Kelly wasn't there, I think Michael Vick would have thrived more, especially with the Eagles during that time. And I got a chance to take a look at his numbers during the stint that he was there. He was there for 5 seasons. He's also got comeback player of the year, as well as got a Pro Bowl and I think an All-Pro as well. His total yardage and passing was close to 10,000. He was at 9,984 passing yards with 57 passing touchdowns.
In how many seasons is that, Earl?
That was in 5.
Okay.
And his running total, he almost eclipsed 2,000 yards in that. During the time he was there, he had 1,998 yards, and his rushing touchdowns was 15. I think under what Michael Vick did, especially with coming back, that really grabbed my attention because it was one where I knew he definitely wanted to redeem himself, and I felt having a fresh start with different colors and also a bird, he had to redeem himself in a way to get back on his feet. So I really liked that he took the opportunity to work on himself as well as get back on the field doing the sport that he loves, but also coming back and pretty much delivering on a I think was a really dope performance, especially with just the weapons that the Eagles had during that time. I just think Chip Kelly just with what he was doing really just burned the Eagles in that regard. But yeah, that's my case for Vic as the fourth option as the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. But I definitely had Nick Foles as a honorable mention where he could have fit that spot because he brought the Eagles their first championship. So I stand on it.
All right, okay. That's cool, man. Michael Vick definitely had a career comeback with the Eagles, and I'm sure he's appreciative of Jeffrey Lurie, the ownership, just giving him an opportunity after what he went through. And Michael Vick had some dynamic players with him when he played for the Eagles. I mean, the combination of him and Deshaun Jackson was deadly.
Oh yeah,
off the jump.
Yeah,
and I saw it firsthand. Yeah,
as you mentioned
Happy
earlier.
Birthday, Lucas.
yeah. They had a nice little core there. Sadly, it didn't last, but that combination of Vic to Jackson, was crazy.
And Vic came in just at the right time when it was at the end of McNabb's prime too. So that was that was cool. I wouldn't have Vic on mine, but I mean he could be an honorable mention. Fair enough.
For sure.
That's fine. That's yours. I just kind of felt with just how I think with the Eagles, like quarterbacks, especially with those with the talent that they have, they seem like dual threats. With that, you had McNabb and what he was able to do. Then you had Randall Cunningham as an ultimate weapon. I feel like Vic was kind of like a Swiss Army knife on redemption with that regard. So, yeah, it was just kind of fit the theme of how the quarterbacks for the Eagles were. Just being able to throw the ball and running the football.
And let me ask you guys this question, and we can move on to the next topic. On my Mount Rushmore, none of these quarterbacks are Hall of Famers, which sucks. It does suck. But the question is, do you guys think McNabb is a Hall of Famer?
Ooh. Well, let me ask you this first. Has he had his number retired by the Eagles yet?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming that means he's in the Ring of Honor too.
Yes.
It's gosh, the Hall of Fame is so hard.
Yeah, it is.
I think if he would have won that Super Bowl against the Patriots, I don't think it would be.
I think he would have.
It would have. No question. No question. But without that Super Bowl win and the drama around that Super Bowl loss, oh gosh, it's so political in the Hall of Fame. And the fact is that he didn't have much success outside of Andy Reid either.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, you could give it to it's the Football Hall of Fame, right? Not the NFL, or is it the NFL Hall? It's the Football Hall of Fame. NFL.
Yep.
Do questions? Do like reporters get into? Do they have a reporters version class too, or is it not? I'm asking because I know the Basketball Hall of Fame, but not the football.
Yeah, they have like a Writers Hall of Fame.
Because I'm thinking that might be a good place for Jaws to get into the Hall of Fame.
That's true. But McNabb, no, you don't think so?
It's there's so many good quarterbacks. Like you could argue like, oh well, if we're going with some of the team's best quarterbacks, like Matt Schaub from Houston should get consideration, right? No, he shouldn't. Even though you could argue until C.J. Stroud and the short burst that Deshaun Watson had, that he was the best QB in their history, right? So I don't know. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Nick Foles will never get into the Hall of Fame. Let's be clear. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I would leave
that up.
If he gets in, it's not going to be until he's like 60 or 70.
Yeah, it's not one where it's like a sure Hall of Famer, but if they were to just
if they have a weak class,
they would put him in, especially if it's like a weaker class on it.
I will say I do think other quarterbacks will get in before him.
Oh yeah.
In like upcoming classes.
Oh yeah.
I would actually throw that question to some of the Eagles.
That's a good poll question.
Yeah.
Noted.
We'll post that somebody needs to post that tomorrow. I'm going to be too busy.
Yeah.
We got you.
Okay. Anyway,
so let's move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Earl, go ahead and take it away for us.
Roger that. We're going to go over to the NFC East team news, and I'm going to kick it back to Maurice. Do you have any team news dealing with the Eagles?
No, I do not. But please allow me to have these next couple minutes because I have something I want to get off my chest.
Uh-oh.
Proceed.
I'm kind of actually scared.
So, in these days and times, social media is really prevalent, and since Elon Musk has been the owner of Twitter or X, I'll refer to it as X, there's been a lot of engagement baiting, and what I mean by that is people will throw certain comments out there just for the replies, because at the end of the day, with a blue check mark, you can get paid for your replies and your engagements on Twitter. Cool. But this is towards the 3-letter and 4-letter networks who consistently regurgitate the same debates and same topics, just trying to get an engagement. And the topics and questions that they ask are pretty stupid. Now, yeah. So there was a network that would consistently debate Dallas Cowboys players and Eagles players. Why? Because they get a lot of views, they get a lot of attention.
And one of their hosts is a former Eagle.
Yes, correct. So they asked the question, who's a better quarterback, Dak or Jalen Hurts? I mean, we've heard this question about...
This debate has been going on like 9 million years now.
Yeah, and at this point...
This is old.
And keep in mind, this is the middle of July. So they need something to talk about. And so it gets online and, people say things, and I'm not going to repeat it, but all I want to say to them is get some new material. Stop talking about the same things early over and over again. Listen, both these quarterbacks are really good. And I've personally stated on this podcast multiple times, I think Dak Prescott is a great quarterback. And just from a quarterback perspective, I think he's the best quarterback in the division. Now, the issue with Dak is he doesn't come up big in the clutch moments. And that's where Jalen Hurts shines. Jalen Hurts wins in the big moments. But Dak Prescott is by far the better quarterback. And I do mean by far because the passing yards says it, the touchdown says it, and he's been a winning quarterback pretty much throughout his career. So, with all that said, I say this to say, get some new topics, sports networks, talk about something new and fresh, and I reiterate what Earl said last week. Don't take the cheese.
Yeah, a lot of people hate the cheese.
Fair enough.
Alrighty. I'm going to go with my team news. It'll be quick. Only thing I got right now is that Dak Prescott started his youth football program, and he's been doing this for a while now since he's been a Cowboy, and I really like the stuff that he does with that, really just being a positive influence to the kids and stuff. Respect to him. And I also have that CeeDee Lamb also opened up his youth camp with the Boys and Girls Club. And for him, he basically has spoken that it's about the kids, giving back to the community. However, if the media presents anything dealing with about his potential contract situation, he has zero information for them. It's about the kids. And I like that from CeeDee Lamb announcing that. Keep doing your thing, Dak and CeeDee. Y'all contracts will appear. It's just a waiting game right now. But everything is just kickstarting leading up to training camp, and I'm just excited to see what happens there. And I think with the Jerry Jones documentary, I think it's going to be like a 10, 13 episode. So I already stated my case on that. Whenever it happens, it happens. And I digress with my news. Mal, do you have any team news with the Giants?
Yeah, guys. So week 2 Hard Knocks premiered last night. Did everyone get a chance to give it a watch?
Oh, I did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Shout out to Maurice for helping a brother.
Yes, very cool of Maurice to help you out with that. But guys, I thought this was a really cool episode, just like behind the scenes of the combine, evaluating like all the scouting and things like that. I think that was really cool.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I think we got some initial answers into Mr. Saquon Barkley there. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I wanted to start the conversation with. So as you guys can kind of tell by the tone of voice from both my GM and Saquon on the phone, both were done with each other at that point. I think Saquon and Joe both had a little bit of saltiness from how negotiations went last year. And Joe ultimately decided, hey, like, listen, I don't know what your value is or how you value yourself, so I'm going to let you test the market. If you wouldn't mind, like, could you come circle back and let me know, and we'll see where we're at. And I'm telling y'all, like, the media is loving this tea between Saquon and the Giants. Like, they're going to run with this all the way up until the season, and then some. Week 7 is going to be crazy when he returns to MetLife. Like, this is just, there's two sides where people are like, Saquon's wrong, Giants are wrong, everyone's wrong. Like, it's definitely a battle. So I'm looking forward to get more answers, in the coming weeks. But I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the episode last night. Give me what you got.
I really enjoyed. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say they didn't even really get into the real meat of the Saquon drama yet.
No, I think that's going to be next episode.
It sounds like it's going to. I saw the preview. Yeah.
I just want to see their reaction when they realize Saquon goes to the Eagles. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked this episode because I got a chance to see something special with what the Giants are looking into, especially with trying to find that right player that fits their team. And I got a chance to see a lot of situation with Dable on testing the players. That was one thing that I was getting real excited about because when I say talking ball, it's stuff like that. It's the schemes. It's like being able to see how that player would know what to do in a situation of that. And I love that Dable tested the quarterbacks, especially with Daniels.
Yeah,
I was able to pick up. I was able to pick up what he was saying to Daniels, and I don't think Daniels fully understood it. Where he gave him
He got one.
Let me finish.
Let me
finish.
I'm just saying.
Defend your guy.
I gotta defend my guy. I
understand.
Daniels looked bad with that scene. I will say that. And I think that was low-key kind of intentional, but continue.
Yeah, it was intentional to test them because I saw that with him, with Daniels, as well as McCarthy. For Daniels, he basically said a gun trolley, right 6'4", house XN. Basically, if there's a situation that covers with a cover 1, what were you going to do? And he was like, I don't know, maybe throw a touchdown. And Dable's like, yeah, that's a good answer. I think for the situation for Dable, with him really getting a full understanding of the quarterback situation, because that's his bread and butter. He pretty much did that back at Bama when he was a coordinator in college, where he actually worked with Jalen Hurts as well as with Tua. So it was just really cool to be able to see him talking ball with the guys as well as them responding back. Where it was just, for me, I was just taking in knowledge just from a football standpoint because that was some things that I did when I played football, and it just made me feel like a kid again, just seeing that stuff. And real quick with McCarthy, his was gunned off and right 7'2" Tundra H angles, where he was talking about how Tundra was 200, where it's kind of like a corner flag route. You read it to the right, lend it to the left, flip, formation, it ends with a 72 Rita. So I really like how he really just dissected the mind of Daniels as well as McCarthy on the situations on what you need to do to be the best that you can be as a quarterback. The Saquon, Barkley, and general manager situation, that's going to get very interesting for next week's episode But I think from what the decision was here, I think it was something that felt like it was kind of tension, but it seemed like it was a mutual standpoint to let Barkley test the free agent market.
Definitely. Lucas, go ahead.
Let me just say, bump Hard Knocks for making my boy Jaden Daniels look bad. They could have
You're
left
fine. Look, look. I already know you're on cloud 9 with them, especially with the Twitter space on Sunday. So, look, all it is a standpoint on making sure your quarterback knows certain situations for that. You can't fault them for it, but it's also testing the prospects to see if they know what they know, because there could be something that is lacking from it. And I'm saying that from all the prospects in that situation. You have to test them, because you also got to dissect their mind to see where it is, because I know they want to get drafted, but it also really helps them on what their search is as well.
I think one other thing I did get from this is they were looking to move up for a quarterback.
Yep.
Yes, they were.
They definitely were looking at QB. So
that's kind of, that feels like counterintuitive to what they were saying about Daniels in the previous episode, right? Because they were like, "Oh, he's our guy. He's our guy." If that's the case, then why move up? Maybe get a later round guy, third round.
Well, they did try to. No, they did try to talk to teams on it. Like, they did try to see if the Patriots were going to probably work something out with them to let them know. But there was other teams that talked to them as well. So their intentions were to see, just in case, because they may not have known if Daniel Jones was like fully ready to start week 1. So you definitely needed something on the back end, which led to the backup situation. But if they were to look for one of those quarterbacks, as they said, you got to get one early, because if you don't, they're gone.
Yeah, I think they really was looking at Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good in the test with Dable, in the meeting with Dable, and I think they realized, hey, if you're going to go with Daniel Jones, let's get a real backup in here, and that's what led to Drew Lock.
It was really exciting to see how they reacted to the spike in the salary cap. That was fun too.
Yeah.
Also, Dable has the most irrational confidence in himself ever.
He kills me.
Look,
he's kind of funny.
I have a question for y'all. Do y'all think what would y'all 40 time be?
Right now?
Oh my God.
Right now.
Oh my goodness.
My lawyer has advised me not to answer that question, sir.
I plead the fifth.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Well,
too.
I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm a tip slower, but I would probably run around a 4.5, or 4.5 or a 4.6. Honest right now. I'm trying to get faster though.
I mean, at my peak, I could probably, I'm trying to remember, because I think I did run a 40 in track my sophomore year, but that wasn't that was kind of my peak. I don't know.
Before I got hurt, I ran a 4.39.
I don't even remember.
After I got hurt, I ran a 4.46 and a 4.52.
I didn't run the 40. I ran a 100. Oh, gosh, that was an embarrassing time for me. Anyway, moving on.
Deceptive quickness.
Nah, there was nothing deceptive about that race. Anyway. It was illuminating. That is what that one was. Anyway, so do you mind if I get to Commanders, or Mal, was there anything else?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say one final thought. Speaking of Saquon Barkley, he was released as the number 95 on the Giants' top 100 players list.
That seems kind of low.
Him. Congratulations.
That seems
what,
low.
95?
Yeah.
There's probably 95 Giants players better than him.
Is that you being objective, or you being salty right now?
No, that's me being objective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make our top 100 NFC East players of all time.
Oh my goodness, that'll take forever.
That is not for this offseason though. that is for sure.
We got to build experience.
So I was going to leave the Jaden Daniels thing alone, and I've already said what I need to say. Bump Hard Knocks. They know what they did. They were catering to the Giants on that one.
No,
okay.
You were in your feelings, sir.
Anyway,
calm down.
So there is some Commanders rumblings going on here. So first off, the gold pants are back with the burgundy jerseys. I'm very happy about that. Gives me a little bit of nostalgia, and it looks better. It just looks better, right? So I'm excited about that. Do you guys like that one? Do you guys like that look?
Yeah.
Or do you prefer the one?
I like their old look anyway. So yeah, it was fine for me. It's just I don't know with that all black unis. No.
Well, we'll see what happens with them in the future. Speaking of the future, I've done some. So RG3, one of the probably short list of guys that might have been on the Mount Rushmore. Maybe not. You got to check out the episode, listeners. But
yeah, definitely looking at the mountaintop.
Anyway, so he recently posted on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Would you be okay with the logo coming back? For those that don't know the history, we've talked about it before. It is a history of a Montana, and I think it's the Blackfoot tribe, Montana Native American tribe, and it's from the Blackfoot tribe. I can't remember the name of the chieftain off the top of my head here, but it was done. It was supposed to be done in honor. He asked if, and a lot of people were in pro of bringing back the old logo at least. So that might be something. It might be nothing. But what is something here, and I looked this up, and I didn't see this last week, but I saw, according to the AP News, Associated Press, there is a Montana senator that is willing to block the new stadium in D.C. He's willing to block that if they don't honor the original logo somehow. That is what the AP
that's interesting.
has said. Because apparently he has some connection with that tribe. So we'll see what happens there. Definitely interesting.
I think they should bring it back because it's so much tradition with it.
But can you bring back the name, though? The name is the bigger problem, right?
I mean, there's other names you can
like what? Like Washington Warriors?
Yeah, like something like that, or Seminole.
Washington Blackfoots. I mean, if we're going with the tribe, right?
So the overall issue is, from what I'm getting, is the logo is fine.
The logo. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the logo has been approved by the local Indian nations there around Washington, D.C., correct?
It's the majority. I mean, there are still people that are. There's always going to be people, native or non-native, against it. And in the report, it was talking about how some people view the logo as it can't be separated from the name at this point.
Okay, so that's the issue. Okay.
That's that. I think that's what some natives have the problem with, is like the logo itself, nothing wrong, but the connection to the name after all these years is the problem now, and they don't believe you can separate the two anymore. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a really interesting thing that I think we're just gonna have to keep an eye on. Look, I mean, I remember Josh Harris's wife, and when she was recently asked about it during this offseason, she was like, I like the name Commanders. So maybe they'll stick with it. I honestly don't know, guys. I really don't. This thing could go 1,000 different directions. And honestly, I think it's partially going to depend on who wins the presidency. I know that's crazy to say, but I think that will play some sway in it. Tell me that I'm wrong, though.
That's interesting.
Not to get political, because we're not political, but I think that does play a role in this, because it's not just a football thing anymore. It's a political and social thing now.
Yeah, it should just stay with football, but...
Well, anyway, let's change the subject. Let's go to our social media stuff.
Yes, let's go to the mailbag.
Mailbag.
And the mailbag is brought to us this week by the Washington Commanders. And shout out Ed Helsinki. Hope I'm saying your name right. He had a question for us again this week. What's the Commanders' offense going to look like this season? Will it be well balanced, run heavy, or perhaps pass happy?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question. Yeah. I hope that it's balanced. I don't have an exact answer. Training camp would be preseason would be a better way to give a better answer for that. If I'm being honest, because we don't know, we haven't seen. This is the first time since being a head coach that Cliff is back in the NFL, so we don't know if he's changed his style at all. And different quarterback, he's more of a pocket passer, but he is going to run a lot too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, are you asking for designed runs or just like the balance overall? Because like modern NFL, there's less run than pass. Let's be clear. Yeah. But with Daniels being on the roster, you don't know if it's going to be more balanced out. But I don't think it's going to be play called run heavy. I don't think that's the case.
I think Jalen Daniels to start. If he starts week 1, they're going to run the ball more. Some of that might be his own legs, but Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler are going to help him at least get through the first half of the season, and then he can get his feet a little bit more wetter in the passing game.
Yeah, it'll get him comfortable. You don't want to like have him throwing and break his courage.
Well, and the other thing is, even if they're not using them as running the ball, they'll be release valves for him on like quick passes, like dump the ball off. Any thoughts, Mel?
Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking the same thing with Maurice. That week 1, if Jaden Daniels is starting, I think that it will be more run heavy. I think over time, as he gets more experience in NFL gameplay, it'll become more balanced. But I was just going to say, I totally forgot that you guys have Austin Eckler. So I think that in the beginning, that's kind of... But I also agree with you, Lucas. Like, I don't think they're going to be designed run plays either. So I don't know. I would have to see how like the plays are called during preseason to kind of give a real answer on that there. But I'm going to lean more on the run heavy in the beginning. That's my thoughts.
Fair enough. But that was a good question. That had me stumped. So let's go ahead and go to Earl's segment
of Who's That Football Player? Denny.
Loved it.
This football player played for the New York Giants. Back in the 1996 season, he had 5 interceptions for 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery for 97 yards. His career awards, he led the NFL in forced fumbles in 1996. Guys, who's that football player?
So I'll try, since this is my team. I have a few in my head, but I'm gonna guess Jason Sehorn.
You are correct, Mal.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
I love me some Jason Sehorn.
I honestly didn't remember, so that's good that you did. I gotta get right on I gotta do better on these because I feel like I've been messing up the type. I've had too many typos on these recently. I apologize, y'all. That's my bad.
You know what? Though, the trivia questions really come down to me and Mal. So maybe in a future episode we can have a trivia segment where we all ask questions and we can put Lucas and Earl on the stove for once.
Okay. I'm down for that. But that means Mal's gonna have to.
I've answered some of the trivia questions.
Yeah, Earl doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, since he's hosted it.
No. You're talking about who's that football player, not trivia. Those are 2 different segments, sir.
Well, it's still a okay, all right.
I get what you're saying, Maurice. I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah. How about this time? How about we switch it up next week? So next week we'll do different ones. Okay, we'll do different ones. Okay, so does that make everybody else happy?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I guess so.
Okay. So next week we'll talk about it after the pod, but I will assign different people to do the trivia question. How about this? The Who's That Football Player? Earl will introduce it, but whoever's team is up will get to choose the player.
Okay.
Deal. Because my head is like spiraling. Like I got a full dictionary of players I've been going through. So.
Yeah, actually,
Some fresh thoughts.
Jason Sehorn was the third Giants player that he chose because the first two we had already done last offseason.
Like I was going through them.
We Jesse Armistead and who was the other one? Jesse Armistead and who was the other one?
It was Carl Banks.
Carl Banks, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, no relation. Right. Anyway, so continuing, that was a good one. I don't think anybody got that on social media. So
yeah, I didn't see any. I think he also won the Super Bowl too. So that was another reward that Sehorn had. So he was a solid player. Respect.
He was solid.
Yep. Yeah. Right. So anyway, Mal, go ahead.
Questions?
Yep. Right. We got 3 this week.
Poll questions, guys. So let's start with the Giants poll since that was our featured one of the week on the socials. So with Darren Waller retired, who will be the Giants' tight end 1 at the beginning of the season? Daniel Bellinger or Theo Johnson, recent draft pick? 83%, most people said Daniel Bellinger, which I think makes sense. He's going into year 3. He did a lot of work with Waller last year and had a lot of snaps back in 2022. So I think we'll roll with him. And he's been putting in a lot of work in these off seasons, so I'm excited to see what he has to do there. Any thoughts, guys? Disagreements?
No, it seems right.
I'm cool with Bellinger.
Okay, cool. So now let's move on to our 2 Commanders polls, which got a lot of traction here, guys. So we kind of spoke about this in Lucas's team news, but the first question was, what color pants do the burgundy jerseys look better with, white or gold and yellow? It was an overwhelming response of gold and yellow. So I think people really like the legacy there with that uniform, which I can't really blame them for. I have to agree.
Yes.
Then the next poll question was, which name should Washington have? Commanders, Redskins, or other? And it was overwhelming. Mostly everyone said Redskins.
That's the tradition.
It is
few
tradition.
People said other. And only 3% said Commanders. So Commanders was the least popular answer. Either people want Redskins or they want other.
That's... I mean, look, I get not liking the Commanders' name. I don't like the Commanders' name. But to have that many people going for Redskins, which we know is a slur. Like, we know. Yet, gosh. It's... You know what? I'm not going to get political on here. I'm not. People have their opinions. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
But, Lucas, why don't you take us to some trivia with the Eagles?
Yes. Let me pull up the trivia question because I thought this was going to be a hard one, but a lot of people, especially on Facebook, got this right. Shout out to them. But
yeah, for real. Thanks for engaging, everybody.
Yes, for real. Yes. A lot of Eagles fans really got out for this one. Which former Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver has the longest reception in franchise history? Now, I think Maurice knows this. I'm going to ask Earl and Mal first.
You want me to go?
Yes.
I'm going to say Mike Quick. I think I remember he had a 99-yard touchdown.
Mal?
I'm thinking... the most receiving touchdowns in a single season.
No. The longest
reception.
The longest.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the answer to this one.
Maurice, what is it?
Actually, I kind of mentioned it earlier with Randall, but yeah, Earl's right. It's Mike Quick.
Yeah, it's Mike Quick. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I thought that was a hard one, but a lot of people got that. They were like, this is easy. I'm like, is it? Okay. I'll try to make it harder for you. I'll try to make it harder for you all next time, Eagles fans. You asked for it, but no. I thought I thought that would be a good one. I actually For some reason, when I was doing this, I did a Giants one first because I thought the Giants were up on in our rotation, but it wasn't. It was actually the Eagles. So I have a Giants one ready now, Mal. So when we get to the Giants again,
you're prepped and ready to go.
I'm prepped and ready to go. I am ready to lock and loaded. Yeah, for sure. So on that note, Maurice, play us out. Make sure people know about our spaces. Let people know that next week we are taking a break from our Mount Rushmores. And do you guys remember what we're doing next week?
No, not a clue.
Is it the roast?
No. We still working out the kinks on the. Anyway, no, we are doing the
quarterback rankings, right?
Yeah, quarterback rankings. Yep. So not only for the division, but also the whole NFL.
1 to 32.
1 to 32. Who we expect to be starters? Who
for the upcoming season? Correct.
For the upcoming season. Yep.
Okay.
We got work to do, guys.
Yeah.
Homework.
So I'm excited about that one.
Haven't did that.
And then the next week, either we will be on the break or we will have somebody to fill in for me because I will be on vacation. So we have to figure that out if we're going to be on break or if we will be on vacation. I think you guys can handle 1 week without me, though.
Oh,
no.
We're gonna miss you.
Oh, I know.
Have a nice vacation, bro.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Maybe we can get a special guest to fill in for me. I got one guy that I think would have fun doing that, but we'll talk about that more next time, guys. In the meantime, Maurice, go ahead and play us out, bud.
Before I play everyone out, I just want to mention that each Sunday we do have a Twitter space or an X space where we talk about each of our teams on every other week. So this Sunday, I will be hosting the Philadelphia Eagles Spaces around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if it was anything like last week's controversial take Lucas had, which you can hear in one of our sound bites, it's going to be a fun
Kool-Aid.
It's going to be a fun Spaces for sure. Before we go, Lucas, explain yourself one more time.
Please.
Now, let me put it out there for everybody so everybody knows.
Yep.
Lucas said in the Spaces that Jaden Daniels could be the second best quarterback in the division this season, his rookie season, surpassing Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Lucas?
I will just be concise about this because we need to get this over. In the best case scenario for Daniels and the worst case scenario for Hurts, Daniels could have a better season. That is best case scenario for the Commanders, worst case scenario for the Eagles.
Honestly, I don't care about any of y'all hot takes. Daniel Jones is going to be the best quarterback in the division, so that's the hot take today.
Whoa. What about giving up on him? What about giving up on him, Al?
What am I supposed to do, bro? He's my quarterback.
You're supposed to be realistic.
I mean, listen, I am realistic.
I can't wait.
I'm realistic.
You guys had a phrase. Dable's first year, we win our way. I think this season
you're all gonna eat crow if it happens. So
I will gladly eat it,
crow.
but I think this season your phrase should be we tank our way.
Bro, tanking where? Tanking where?
Shador Sanders, that's where you're tanking towards. Sanders.
No.
Don't you dare, sir.
That was mine. Get him in Big Blue.
No, I don't think that's
I don't think he was one of the 6 teams. I don't think they were one of the 6 teams Dion
name that he's allowed to go to.
Reese and Lucas, our teams was one of the 6. Are in the 6.
What? The Commanders were on that? No, the Commanders.
Yeah, they were dead. No, they were on it. I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. I knew the Cowboys were. I didn't realize. Well,
you remember when I had that take when I was like Cold Buffalo? I don't think anybody picked up on it.
I picked up on it.
Okay. All right, guys. All right. We got to wrap this thing up. It's almost 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I got to sleep.
All right. All right. So, with all of that said, we thank everyone for listening to our podcast this episode. We truly do appreciate each and everyone out there listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And we're also on YouTube as well. Give us a like and subscribe on one of our videos. Check out our bloopers as well. Make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, and Facebook at 13_rings podcast. Until next time, have a good day.
See ya.
Night, y'all.
Blessings.